So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Went into Pokémon Universe. This is second part of the series, so let's start the series. Naruto and Pikachu were hastily walking along the pathway in direction of Viridian City with the sun already setting. It took some time until they could see their destination not much further away from where they were standing. We're almost there, Pikachu. We'll get you and Pidgeotto all healed up at the Pokémon Center, said Naruto. Pikachu nodded in understanding. Pika. The duo resumed their trek down the pathway and were soon inside the city. Naruto began looking around for a sign which could direct them to the Pokémon Center when he suddenly heard someone call out to him from behind. Hold it right there. He turned round to see a woman with light green hair and wearing the uniform of the police and recognized her to be one of the many Officer Jennies, something that always confuses him to date. Is there something wrong? Asked Naruto confusedly. What do you think you're doing with that Pokémon? Officer Jenny asked while looking at Pikachu. I'm taking Pikachu to the Pokémon Center for healing, Naruto replied. Do you have any proof that the Pikachu belongs to you? Of course I do. Naruto reached into his jacket and brought out the Pokédex. Here, then flipped it open to display his ID as a mechanical voice spoke up. My name is Dexter. I was given and registered to Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Ketchum from Pallet Town by Professor Samuel Oak. I cannot be replaced when lost or destroyed. I guess you check out. I apologize for delaying you. Lately there have been suspected rumors of Pokémon thieves roving about, so I suggest you exercise caution, said Officer Jenny. It's okay and thanks for telling us about it. Naruto nodded in understanding. If you're looking for the Pokémon Center, then it's straight down that street over there. Thanks very much, Pikachu. Naruto bid the policewoman farewell and began following the direction to him. They soon arrived at a large building with a large P at the top. The duo went inside through the entrance and approached the front desk where a pink-haired nurse stood behind it, recognizing her to be Nurse Joy. Hello and welcome to the Pokémon Center. How may I help you? Said Nurse Joy in greeting. Good evening. I wish for my Pokémon to be healed, said Naruto. Then he took out a Pokémon while Pikachu hopped off his shoulder onto the desk after handing over the hat to him. Very well then, leave it to me. Nurse Joy took Pikachu and the Pokeball, then went into another room. So I might as well contact Mom and the professor since I'm here now. Naruto approached one of the video phones and dialed in his mother's phone number while holding the receiver to his ear. He didn't wait too long as a familiar voice was heard. Hello, this is Ketchum Residence, said Delia. Hey Mom, it's me. Naruto chuckled when he heard her squeal. Then the video screen lit up to display her in her bathing robe, which he figured that she just came out of the bathroom. Hi honey, I was wondering when you would call me. Where are you right now? Asked Delia happily. I'm calling from the Pokémon Center at Viridian City, said Naruto. That's amazing. I remember that it took about 5 days for a friend of mine to reach there. You sure are fast. So how was your first day as a trainer? It was a smooth start at first, but things went a bit south when Pikachu and I got attacked by a flock of wild Spearow, but things turned out okay, said Naruto, not wanting to go into too much detail concerning the power he has recently awakened. That must have been a terrible ordeal for the two of you. But I'm glad that everything is alright now. Me too. This is just your first day of being a Pokémon trainer. There's a lot more for you to learn, but know that I will always believe in you. Naruto smiled warmly at that. Thanks Mom, I won't let you down. Oh, and don't forget to change your underwear too. Geez Mom, I know that already. I'll call again when I arrive at the next city, said Naruto, saying his goodbyes before ending the call. Now to call the dash. He was called out from behind again. I was wondering when you would show up. A female voice spoke up. Naruto turned around to see a girl wearing a white hat with a pink Pokeball logo, a sleeveless teal shirt, a pair of black sweatbands on her hands. She also wears a pink skirt, long blue socks and athletic shoes with a pink stripe. Naruto blinked once before realizing who she is. Leaf? Leaf smirked in response. Who else? I got here quite a while ago and thought to wait until you showed up. And what happened that you look roughed up like that? It's a long story. Something I'll tell you after calling the professor and a good night's rest, said Naruto. Okay, I was thinking of calling him too. Naruto was about to dial the number when it began to ring, much to his surprise, but he decided to answer it nonetheless to find out who's calling at the moment. Turns out it was someone whom he and Leaf are familiar with. Hey Naruto, it's me, Professor Oak. Don't you recognize me? Asked said person. I do. Which includes the back of your head that I'm looking at right now, said Naruto with a look of amusement, while Leaf giggled. Professor Oak looked back to see that it was true and felt embarrassed. Oops, this often happens. He typed on his keyboard to switch the cameras to the right position. I had just came off a call with your mother, and she informed me of your arrival over at Viridian City, and I can see that Leaf is there with you. Hello, Professor, said Leaf with a wave. Good to see you too, Leaf. Glad to see that you've all arrived there safely. By the way, are you and Pikachu getting along? Naruto smiled in response. Yes, we are. Only a matter of time before we become best of friends. Kinda obvious, given how Pokémon tend to get attached to you with just the first encounter, said Leaf, having been witnessed that several times during their childhood. Oh, and there's something that I want to ask you too, said Prof. Oak. What is it? Asked Naruto curiously. You see, Gary had made a bet with me that you two wouldn't be able to catch a Pokémon by the time you reach Viridian City, with the winner getting 100 Pokédollars from the loser each. Naruto and Leaf looked at each other and smirked with glee before turning to respond to the professor. Then consider yourself a rich guy, as I caught a Pidgeotto, and I'm sure Leaf also caught a Pokémon too. I did too, a cute Rattata, said Leaf happily. Prof. Oak smiled upon hearing that. Splendid. I'll be sure to send half of the money to your trainer accounts. By the way, Professor, Pikachu and I saw a Pokémon which my Pokédex couldn't identify, said Naruto, recalling the memory of seeing the bird-like Pokémon. Really? A Pokémon which the Pokédex couldn't identify. I wonder what it is, said Leaf. Perhaps it is a Pokémon which doesn't originate from the Kanto region. Perhaps it was migrating, said Prof. Oak. I guess so. It looked so regal and majestic when I saw it, said Naruto. Then he heard a chime. I gotta go now. We can talk more later. Very well then, I wish you two all the best on your journey and hope to hear from you soon, said Prof. Oak fondly before ending the call. Naruto and Leaf made their way over to the main counter where Nurse Joy and Chansey. Pikachu happily hopped off to land on Naruto's shoulder and rubbed his cheeks against the blonde's, then putting on his hat, and Nurse Joy held out the Pokeball to him. Your Pokemon are back to full health, said Nurse Joy politely. Naruto received the Pokeball with a smile. Thank you, Nurse Joy. So I guess this little cutie is your starter, said Leaf while looking at Pikachu. Pika? Pikachu titled his head in curiosity. I would like for you to meet Leaf Green. She's a childhood friend of mine from Pallet Town, said Naruto. Getting a nod of understanding from the electric type, then he turned towards Leaf. I'll be going to change and rest in my room. We'll meet up in the morning. Okay, Naruto, see you later, said Leaf. Naruto nodded in affirmation before leaving the lobby as he went upstairs and into a room provided for him. He went to take a bath while Pikachu waited on the bed until he was done, and came out while dressed in orange t-shirt and gray shorts. Naruto sat on the bed and thought back on what happened today when he suddenly recalled something. Oh right, Kuro said that he left something in my backpack. Naruto reached into the backpack to take out a brown journal along with a red bracelet, a card holster containing a couple of blank cards and a letter attached. He decided to read the letter first, and so opened the envelope to do so. Yo Naruto, now that you're cooled down and all with your Pokemon, I'd like to give you the basics of what it means to be an Aura Guardian. First and foremost is that an Aura Guardian is meant to protect both humans and Pokemon whilst detaining oppressors. They also don't kill unless under extreme circumstances, which I hope will never happen to you. Next is that being an Aura Guardian holds a lot of street cred, as even wild Pokemon would be more cooperative. I'd like to talk more, but the rest of the info is in the journal along with a training program. Another thing though, try to make sure that fewer people know of your aura powers so that your loved ones won't get caught in the crossfire, like donning a disguise or something, okay? The gears given to you are non-lethal, but it doesn't mean that it won't hurt. Gotta make the bad guys think twice, plus enforce the no-killing rules so you won't have to worry when using them to their full power. We'll definitely be bumping into each other from time to time, and we could spar to see how strong you are. Your buddy Kuro. P.S. You would get a little headache from the info dump I casted on the bracelet once you put it on, and would never come off. A headache, huh? Naruto looked at the bracelet with mild hesitance while Pikachu watched with concern. Pikapi? Asked Pikachu. Well, I would have to put it on eventually, so I might as well get on with it. Naruto picked up the bracelet and slipped it through to his wrist. He was taken by surprise when it tightened itself and wouldn't come loose, though it wasn't like he would attempt to remove it anyways. Next thing he knew was that his head began to ache a bit, but it didn't last long until it faded away and information concerning the bracelet flowed into his mind. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Can't wait to try it out. Pikapi Pikachu? Pikachu asked to see if he was doing okay. I'm fine, buddy. It wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. Now let's check out the journal before going to bed. He reached for the book but was then startled when an alarm blared and he heard Officer Jenny's voice through a loudspeaker in a frantic tone. Attention! We have signs of Pokémon thieves in the city. Please be on the lookout and be extremely cautious. Naruto shot up from his bed upon hearing that Pokémon thieves? That probably means that they're coming here. He went to put on some clothes, then strapped the card holster and Pokeball belt on. Come on, Pikachu! Pika! Pikachu climbed onto Naruto's as he ran out of the room and down to the lobby where he saw Nurse Joy and Leaf already there. He was about to call out to them when something crashed through the glass ceiling and fell onto, revealing 2 Pokeballs, which opened up to reveal 2 Pokemon before them, which Naruto swiftly identified them to be a Coughing and an Ekans, as the former unleashed a cloud of smoke. What going on? Asked Leaf in a mild panic. Prepare for trouble, a female voice spoke up. And make it double, then a male voice followed up. To protect the world from devastation, to unite all people from within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Jessie, a woman with long red hair curled at the end, wearing a short black shirt that exposes her midriff under a white high-collared sleeved shirt emblazoned with a large red R, a white mini-skirt, black leg-length boots, and long black arm sleeves appeared. James, a man with shoulder-length periwinkle hair, wearing a white long-sleeved shirt with a large red R on it, black short-sleeved undershirt with white pants with a purple belt on his waist, and black boots and matching gloves, stood next to the woman with a rose in hand. Team Rocket blast off to the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight. Then a Pokemon identified as a Meowth landed before them and actually spoke. Meowth. That's right. Team Rocket, aren't they the Pokemon thieves we've been hearing about on TV? Asked Leaf warily. Judging from the motto, that means that they are. Naruto glared at the trio along with Pikachu sparking electricity from his cheeks. Jessie smiled arrogantly. Good to know that we're well known around here. Expect no less from Team Rocket. And now we'll be taking all of the Pokemon from here, said James. So start forking them over or there'll be problems, said Meowth. Naruto and the others were still finding it hard to believe that the cat Pokemon is talking. Well, you're in the wrong place. This is a place for weak and sick Pokemon, said Nurse Joy. Jessie scoffed in response. Maybe so, but there are bound to be some rare Pokemon for us to help ourselves to. Naruto took a step forward. And you think that we would just let you by? Of course, we'll just crush you and be on our way. Go Ekans! At her command, the snake Pokemon lunged at the target. Intercept with Thunder Shock, Pikachu! Naruto quickly called out. Pikachu leapt off his shoulder and launched a blast of electricity which shocked Ekans and sent it reeling back in pain. Quick, this way! Nurse Joy called out to Leaf and Naruto for them to follow, which they did. Naruto saw that the Rocket Trio were about to follow them when he noticed a fire extinguisher hanging off the wall. He quickly picked it up and aimed the nozzle towards them before spraying them with foam, before tossing it aside and going after the others into a room containing shelves of Pokeballs before locking the door. When the lights suddenly went out, "What just happened?" asked Leaf. Nurse Joy replied, Team Rocket must has cut the power to the building, but luckily we have Pika power. Pika power? asked Naruto confusedly. Suddenly the power came back and then he looked to the side to see many Pikachu running along a large circular wheel while constantly discharging electricity to power up the Pokemon Center. Wow, that's oddly convenient. Nurse Joy quickly made her way over to a computer and began typing rapidly on the keyboard. We have to get the Pokeballs over to the Pokemon Center at Pewter City to protect them. A mechanical arm began picking the Pokeballs one by one and placing on the teleporter to be transported. That thing's too slow. Team Rocket will be here anytime soon, said Naruto urgently. At that moment the door was broken down by coughing, which also knocked the Pokeballs off the shelves as well, and Team Rocket walked with smirks on their faces. Just give already. There's no way you can beat us, said Meowth. You should give up on me giving up. Let's go Pikachu, said Naruto determinedly. Pikachu stood before him ready for battle. Leaf stood next to him with a Pokeball in hand. I'm helping too. Help us out, Bulbasaur. She threw the Pokeball for it to open up as her starter appeared next to Pikachu and was just as ready. Use Wrap on that little rat, Ekans, said Jessie. Ekans quickly slithered towards Pikachu to execute the move. Dodge by using agility, and then use Quick Attack, said Naruto. Ekans began wounding around Pikachu, but he quickly evaded and then rammed strongly into the snake Pokemon's head before moving away. Coughing, use Tackle on that Pikachu. James called out for his Pokemon to attack. We won't let you. Bulbasaur used Tackle to stop coughing from attacking Pikachu, said Leaf. Bulbasaur lunged forward and slammed into coughing and was able to knock it out of the way. Thanks, Leaf. Now use Thundershock on coughing, Pikachu, said Naruto. Pikachu fired another blast to zap coughing. What are you doing, Ekans? Get up and use Poison Sting, said Jessie angrily. Ekans rose up and opened its mouth to launch a barrage of poisonous needles towards them. Use Razor Leaf to knock them out of the air, said Leaf. Bulbasaur began firing a barrage of her own to collide with the incoming projectiles, hence cancelling each other out. Coughing, use Poison Gas, said James. Coughing opened his mouth to exhale a cloud of purple smoke towards them. Quick, Bulbasaur, use your Vine Whip to blow the gas away, said Leaf. Bulbasaur brought out her vines and swung it around rapidly in the manner of a fan and successfully blew it away before wrapping around Coughing and slammed him hard to the ground. Pikachu used Quick Attack once more, said Naruto. Pikachu dashed forward with white light trailing behind him. Not so fast, Twerp. Use Wrap, Ekans, said Jessie. Ekans avoided the attack and wounded himself around Pikachu, then proceeded to squeeze him tightly. Got your little rat now? I don't think so. Use Thundershock to break free. Pikachu managed to hear Naruto and unleashed electricity from his body, hence electrifying Ekans to the point of making him faint. Alright, way to go, buddy. Pikachu! Pikachu nodded in satisfaction of defeating his opponent. Meowth stepped forward with a frown. You're gonna pay for that, your cat food. He lunged at them with his claws bared but got blown back when Pikachu zapped him with another Thundershock, but Naruto could see that he was already getting tired. There's gotta be a way to take them out, said Naruto. Then he noticed the bracelet beginning to glow before transforming in a high-tech gauntlet-like device, and referred to the gauntlet from Bakugan New Vestroya, which covered his entire forearm. Then a card shot out of the holster for him to catch and see that it was the Pikachu card. He looked confused at first before getting the idea of what he is to do. Okay then, time to finish this, Pikachu. Pika, said Pikachu. Naruto, what are you going to do? Asked Leaf. I don't know, but it's gonna be mind-blowing. The gauntlet opened up to reveal a slot which Naruto slid the card inside before closing. Then a voice spoke up. Attack mode, Thundershock. Naruto felt his body become enshrouded in electricity, much to the shock on everyone around. It's over, Thundershock. He thrust a hand forward to launch a blast of electricity. Pikachu! Pikachu quickly joined in with his own Thundershock. They constantly zapped Team Rocket to the extent that Coughing expelled gas which was ignited by the electricity, triggering an explosion which destroyed much of the Pokémon Center and sent Team Rocket flying. Outside the building, Officer Jenny came skidding to a stop on her bike and looked up at the explosion in wonder. I didn't know that there was going to be firework. Elsewhere, Team Rocket were hanging on to a rope attached to a hot air balloon designed in resemblance of a giant Meowth's head while covered in dirt and soot from having been shocked by Naruto and Pikachu. I can't believe those twerps beat us, said Jessie. That Pikachu was no joke, and the boy's device actually made him use a Pokemon's attack too, Meowth pointed out to the others. Then we should steal them and hand over to the boss, said James gleefully. No sooner he said that did their balloons suddenly pop a hole which sent flying out of control into the night sky. Looks like Team Rocket is blasting off, the trio called out before disappearing into the distance in a twinkle of a star. The next morning, Nurse Joy was sitting before a computer with Officer Jenny sitting next to her within what's left of the Pokémon Center, and was currently with her sister over at Pewter City. All of the Pokémon you have sent had been safely transported, said Nurse Joy's sister. That's a relief to hear. The kids that helped us are on their way there. Thanks very much, sis. Then she hung up on the call. I sure hope that they can make it safely through the Viridian forest. No doubt they will. Those are different from the other trainers we have met so far, said Officer Jenny. In the Viridian forest, Naruto, Pikachu and Leaf were walking along the dirt path while having a conversation about everything that had occurred yesterday, which also included his meeting with Kuro as well. So that's what happened, though I never expected you to become an Aura Guardian, said Leaf after listening to what Naruto told her. But isn't it supposed to be a partial secret like you said? True, but I know I can trust you. We've never told anyone each other's secrets, and you're my childhood friend after all, said Naruto with a foxy grin. Oh right, thank you for trusting me, Naruto. Leaf looked away with a blush on her cheeks, touched at how much faith he has in her. But what about your mom and the professor? Aren't you going to tell them? I will, but I need to come into grasps with my role as an Aura Guardian before eventually telling them, said Naruto thoughtfully. Okay then, so what's your current plan in the meantime? I'll be doing some training with Pikachu and Pidgeotto while I do some training of my own, then resting a bit before going out to search for some Pokémon to catch, said Naruto. What about you? Leaf reached into her bag and took out a digital camera with a smile. I'll be taking some pictures of the scenery with some training here and there before meeting up with you. Okay, Leaf. But be careful around here. I heard there are swarms of Beedrill here. I will. Leaf then walked away. Now then, let's find ourselves a small clearing, then we can begin with training. Pikachu! Pikachu looked ready to get a lot stronger. The duo walked further into the whilst making sure to avoid any Beedrill territories till they found a small clearing which was good enough for their needs. Naruto then brought out Pidgeotto and introduced himself and Pikachu, with the bird Pokémon being quite friendly to them. Naruto took to running laps around the clearing with the Pokémon, with Pidgeotto running on her legs after he pointed out that there would be situations where she wouldn't be able to use them, while also to build up their stamina as well to last longer, and their base speed and inclusion. Next, Naruto set up targets using wooden logs and stones for them to use their moves on them, saying that they need to completely master their moves before moving on to learning new techniques. He himself wasn't being idle either, as he took to doing push-ups between two-handed and one-handed, then sit-ups amongst others till he decided to rest a bit. Oh yeah, I still haven't read the journal yet. Naruto took the book out of the bag and began to read. According to the journal, there was a special clan of Aura Guardians known as the Kizuna clan, which means bonds. They were a different group of Aura Guardians that also travel around the world and perform good deeds for both humans and Pokémon. However, they draw strength from the bonds between them and their Pokémon to be able to perform feats far beyond anyone's imagination, whilst using the aura to augment their physical abilities. Each member of the Kizuna have a unique way of utilizing the power of bonds during their adventures. Some of the clan members utilize the power of such bonds in the form of cards, and there were 3 known to be absolute masters. First is Shinji Kido, who detests wars and saddens at the loss of life. His cards were based on the powers and abilities of dragon types. Second is Kazuma Kenzaki, an Aura Guardian who vowed to never let an innocent human or Pokémon feel pain if he could help it, which was what motivated him to fight against all odds. His cards are based on the basic abilities of various Pokémon, which he emulates to enhance his own. The third and final would be Tsukasa Kadoya, a seemingly arrogant man who always claims to be passing through whenever he was being asked to never staying in one place for too long, but he truly cares for the harmony between human and Pokémon, thus would fight fiercely to protect and maintain it. His cards emulate the attacks of Pokémon, and capable of working in collaboration with them. These 3 were the strongest of the Kizuna clan during their time till they retired. Man, I got a lot to do to earn a place amongst the big greats. But it's going to be a long but fun road for me and the Pokémon before we get there. First things first, I need to gain proper access to my aura. Naruto flipped through the pages and saw the instructions, then he placed the journal aside and sat cross-legged on the ground with his eyes closed as he proceeded to meditate. As he searched within himself, he began to feel a sensation and searched calmly, with it getting stronger till he finally grasped and let it flow through him. When he opened his eyes, Naruto saw that his body is covered with a blue cloak of aura, and it made him feel stronger and enhanced his senses. Wow, so this is my aura. I feel so much stronger and not even tired. He then noticed Pikachu curled up on his lap with a blissful look on his face, and Pidgeotto was nestled next to him. And they weren't the only ones, as he saw a Pokémon sitting on his shoulder which he identified to be a Caterpie. He recalled from the journal that aura tend to have a positive or negative effect on human and Pokémon, and guessed that was the reason why they were all so relaxed around him. Naruto reached over to pick the bug Pokémon from his shoulder and held it before him. The movement seemed to have roused Caterpie from its sleep as it looked up to him and tilted its head in curiosity. Looks like you found a good place to take a nap, eh? Asked Naruto, chuckling when he saw Caterpie wiggle around a bit in embarrassment. It's alright. I don't really mind. I guess my aura had attracted you here. Caterpie nodded. It was crawling through the trees when it felt a nice and warm sensation, then followed it to him. It also saw Pikachu and Pidgeotto there too, but the feeling was so nice that it couldn't help but crawl over and fell asleep on his shoulder. Talking to him now assured it now that he is a very nice trainer. Maybe he could help it achieve its lifelong dream. Say, Caterpie, I was wondering if you would like to be my Pokémon and come along? My dream is to be a Pokémon master, and I can help you to be the strongest as you can be while treating you with the utmost respect. What do you say? Asked Naruto. He needn't wait long, as Caterpie was nodding its head eagerly. Great. Just give me a minute. Naruto took a Pokeball from his belt and activated it before tapping on Caterpie's head, sucking it inside and ding to confirm capture. Alright, Caterpie has been captured. Naruto's cheer roused Pikachu and Pidgeotto from their aura-induced sleep as they looked at Naruto in confusion as the former called out to him, Pikachu? I just caught a Pokémon which is a Caterpie while you two were asleep. Naruto snickered when they looked at him wide-eyed. Can't blame you. My aura was that relaxing, huh? Pikachu and Pidgeotto nodded in affirmation. When he began radiating his aura, they felt all of their aches from training fade away when they stayed close to him and are now feeling refreshed now they're awake. They were about to say more when their eyes suddenly narrowed and glanced to the side. Naruto would have said something as well, but he too sensed what they detected due to his newly awakened aura. Something emerged from a clump of bushes to their left, and it wasn't Leaf. Naruto's eyes widened upon what he was seeing before him. It is a green bipedal insectoid with cream accents between its 3 body segments. On the back of its somewhat reptilian head are 3 points and has narrow eyes. Its forearms consists of large white sides, on its thighs are spikes of fur, and it has 3 clawed toes on its large feet. It also has 2 pairs of cream-colored wings extending from its back. Naruto took out his Pokédex to scan the Pokémon. Scyther, the mantis Pokémon. Its claws are sharp as swords, and it is a powerful flyer. This Pokémon is rarely seen by humans and almost never captured. A Scyther here in the Viridian forest. That's pretty unusual despite this place being home to many bug-type Pokémon, said Naruto. He noticed the Scyther looking at him intently and took a step forward, making Pikachu and Pidgeotto step before their trainer to protect him. Scyther ignored the two and continued to stare at Naruto. Suddenly the bracelet transformed into its gauntlet form and a card shot out of the holster like before for Naruto to catch and look to see that it is a blank card, which then changed to illustrate the symbol of a sword. Not knowing what else to do at the moment, Naruto inserted the card into the gauntlet. Gear up, Aura Blader. Something then appeared in a flash of light which then faded to reveal a high-tech saber, and referred to Blade Rouser from Kamen Rider Blade. In Naruto's hand, much to his surprise, he saw the Scyther stop and looked at Naruto and the blade before taking up a stance with its sides raised before. It was then Naruto understood its intentions. I get it now, you want to fight me instead, said Naruto. Scyther nodded in affirmation to his statement. Then in that case, I'll take up your challenge. Pikachu. Pikachu was in clear disagreement with Naruto and wanted to be the one to battle Scyther. Pidgeotto was chirping in agreement with the electric mouse. I understand your reasoning, but don't worry, cause I'm sure I can handle it. The Pokémon still weren't and hesitantly stood back but ready to intervene when necessary. Naruto stepped forward and took a stance with the Aura Blader before him as he saw Scyther still keeping him within its sights ready. At his words, they dashed at each other and clashed in the middle. Both sides constantly clashed blades in attempts to gain dominance over the other. Naruto was able to keep up with Scyther thanks to channeling the aura throughout his body to enhance its base capabilities. He blocked one of the scythes, then quickly rolled away from a follow-up of the second scythe and tried to retaliate with a lunging stab, but Scyther dashed backwards to evade. Then it suddenly began creating duplicates which then surrounded him before attacking from random directions, putting the blonde trainer into a defensive role. Naruto thought fast and quickly took out a Pidgeotto card and inserted it into the gauntlet. Attack mode, quick attack. Naruto crouched slightly, then dashed forward while leaving behind a trail of white light as he began slashing through each of the duplicates and forcefully dispelling them till he located the real one and struck out with a slash. Scyther quickly evaded with a quick attack, but Naruto maintained pursuit as they rapidly clashed with each other with great speed before being sent skidding away for a momentary rest. And the card was ejected from the gauntlet, and he placed it back into the holster. Scyther crossed its arms and spun around quickly, causing a light blue wind to swirl around it as the bug Pokémon opened its arms to launch a crescent-shaped shockwave towards Naruto, who quickly took out the Pikachu card and slotted it into the gauntlet. Support mode, agility. Naruto promptly disappeared from view in a blur as the shockwave went on to cut deeply into a tree. Scyther looked around for its opponent when it suddenly felt something poke its back and looked back to see Naruto standing behind him with the tip of the Aura Blader poking its back with a smile on his face. Despite wanting to continue, Scyther decided that the fight has gone on long enough, and so placed its sides down to signal its end. Naruto stepped away and walked back to Pikachu and Pidgeotto, who were relieved to see that he was okay, and the Aura Blader turned back into a card for him to place along with the Pikachu card back into the holster, and the gauntlet reverted to its bracelet form. Are you satisfied? Asked Naruto. Scyther nodded, much to the confusion of the Pokémon. Scyther was testing me to see if I had what it takes to be its trainer after sensing my aura before. I realized it when I was clashing blades with it. He then approached Scyther with an activated Pokeball before him. So do you wish to come with us? Scyther smiled and nodded. This human is certain to take part in many battles where it would face strong opponents to test its strength against, all the while getting stronger with training Scyther. It tapped its head on the Pokeball and was sucked inside as it rocked around for a bit before letting out a ding to signal its capture. Alright, Scyther has been captured, said Naruto cheerfully. Pi Pikachu! Pikachu cheered as well before climbing onto the blonde's shoulder. Happy for getting a new friend despite everything, Naruto took out the Pokédex to scan for more details. This Scyther is a male with the ability Technician, moves, Vacuum Wave, Quick Attack, Leer, Focus Energy, Pursuit. Then Naruto scanned Caterpie next. Caterpie, the worm Pokémon, for protection, it releases a horrible stench from the antennae on its head to drive away enemies. This Caterpie is male with the ability Shield Dust, Moves, Tackle, String Shot, Bug Bite. Wow, both of them have a decent moveset. I'll plan a training regime for them later while we progress through the forest, said Naruto. He heard a rustle and turned to see Leaf walk into the clearing. Hey Leaf, I see you're back. Yeah. I got some pretty good picks and trained with Bulbasaur and Rattata for a bit. I also caught a Weedle along the way too, Leaf replied. How did your training go? It went well, plus I caught 2 more Pokémon while I was at it. Naruto looked up to the sky to see that the sun was already setting. It's getting pretty late. What say we set up camp right here for the night? Good idea. Plus I'm feeling a bit hungry and so are the Pokémon, said Leaf. Alright then, let's get to it. Naruto went over to the bag and began taking out the camping set and told Pikachu and Pidgeotto to pick up some dried up sticks to use for the campfire. Leaf soon joined in to help. 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100, said Naruto as he finally stopping swinging the aura blade held in his hands and reverted it to its card form. He heard the fluttering of wings above him before something dropped on his head, revealing to be a towel which he used to wipe the sweat off him. He looked up to smile fondly at the Pokémon flying above him. Thanks for the towel, Butterfree. Free. The bug/flying Pokémon chirped happily as he flew around Naruto, who suddenly felt a slight prick to the side and turned to smile sheepishly at the cause. And good work to you too, Scyther. Don't think I had forgotten about you either, said Pokémon scoffed in response. Apparently he too had been practicing alongside the blonde trainer, who had noticed that the second bug Pokémon has an interest in swordplay, as he's always around whenever Naruto brings out the aura blade to engage him in a spar. Let's head back into camp to meet up with Leaf and the others. Receiving nods of affirmation from the 2 bug Pokémon, Naruto finished drying up before taking his jacket, which he had hung from a low tree branch, to put it on before they began making their way back to the campsite. There he saw Leaf sitting on a tree log with a laptop on her lap and typing away, with Pikachu and Bulbasaur watching with curiosity. They heard footsteps and looked up to see who it is and perked up. Pikachu! Pikachu happily scampered over to plop himself on Naruto's shoulder, with the blonde fondly smiling at the lightning mouse. Hey there, Pikachu! Naruto playfully flicked the brim of the mouse's hat. Looks like you're done with your training, said Leaf. Yeah, was doing some calisthenics with Scyther to stay in shape, especially we already had training on moves proficiency yesterday. Yeah, I could see the results of the training whenever you battled those bug trainers here in the Viridian forest, said Leaf as she recalled the looks of disbelief on the trainers. Given that Naruto was a 2-week-old Pokémon trainer, thanks to the training, Naruto's Caterpie evolved into Metapod, then to a Butterfree, which is currently sitting Naruto's head. The blonde went on to train the other Pokémon to learn new moves after having helped them master the ones they already know. How's your blog coming along? Asked Naruto, taking note of the laptop. I'm almost done setting up the site, thanks to your Pikachu helping recharge the battery, though I think we should get a move on though. I'm sure we'll be able to arrive at Pewter City by noon, said Leaf after looking at the time on her Pokegear. Point taken, almost forgot that we're out of food since we've been in this forest for a while. Naruto returned the Pokémon excluding Pikachu into their Pokeballs before packing up and starting their trek through the Viridian forest. Eventually, They exited from the forest onto the open road and later caught sight of a city in the distance with the Pokegear identifying the place to be Pewter City. Looks like we made it to Pewter City. Pikachu! Pikachu nodded in agreement. Let's head over to the Pokémon Center to take care of our Pokémon and then figure what to do from there, said Leaf. With that said, they entered the city and followed the directions to the Pokémon Center, which apparently a tall tower. Then went inside to see many trainers and medical staffs moving about and taking part in various activities. Naruto and Leaf went over to the reception desk where they saw Nurse Joy standing behind it and approached her. Hello, Nurse Joy. Could you please help revitalize my Pokémon? Asked Naruto, having placed his Pokeballs in a tray with Pikachu hopping onto the table after giving his hat to his trainer, not wanting to lose it. Mine too, please. Leaf presented her tray as well. I'll be pleased to do just that, Naruto and Leaf, said Nurse Joy with a smile. Leaf blinked in confusion. You know of us? Of course. The Joy of Viridian City, who is my little sister, told me about how the two of you helped protect the sick Pokémon from Team Rocket, Nurse Joy explained. We were just doing what was right. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Which was very nice of you. By the way, have you checked the poster behind you yet? Asked Joy before walking away to heal the Pokémon. Poster? Naruto turned around and saw said poster on the wall, then proceeded to read it. The Pokémon League Regional Championship. One must attain a badge from a gym leader of a town or city through a Pokémon battle. In order to participate in the Championship League, one must have accumulated 8 official gym badges. Looks like the rules haven't changed that much besides the increment of the age requirement to become a Pokémon trainer, said Leaf. I'll wait until Pikachu and the others are healed up, then I'll head for the gym here, said Naruto. In that case, we could use this chance to stock up on supplies as well as call our moms too, Leaf suggested. Good idea. Apparently the Pokémon Center also has a store inbuilt. After a phone call with their mothers, the duo went to the shop and restocked on potions, antidote, perilous heal, and awakening, besides food for the journey thanks to the money earned from winning the Pokémon battles against the trainers back in the Viridian Forest. They went to pick up their Pokémon afterwards. They were walking along the street when a passerby handing out brochures gave one to them before continuing on his way. They read off the brochure to learn that the Pewter Museum of Science has reopened after its renovations. A museum, huh? Let's go check it out. This could help with my blog and we could learn a couple of things along the way, said Leaf thoughtfully. You're on to something there, Leaf-chan. What do you think, Pikachu? Asked Naruto. Pikachu thought about it for a moment before nodding in agreement. Pikachu. In that case, let's go. The group followed the map printed on the brochure and soon arrived at their destination, paying an entry fee of 50 Poke Dollars each sans Pikachu to enter. They marveled at the exhibits, which dated back to ancient times, with the skeletal models of Pokémon like Aerodactyl and Kabutops in display. Leaf was taking pictures and notes as they toured the place when they overheard 2 girls pass while gossiping about something. Did you hear about Brock, the gym leader? He's an amazing trainer who overwhelms anyone that tries to challenge him, said the girl. Amazing! Everyday trainers come to the Pewter City Gym to challenge him, said the girl's friend in admiration. The gym leader sounds strong. Are you up for it, Naruto? Asked Leaf with mild concern. My Pokémon and I have trained hard. Battling Brock will tell us how far we're come and how long we have to go. I have confidence that we'll push through, said Naruto with determination. Pikachu felt the same way. Then I'll be rooting for you all the way, said Leaf, getting the blonde to smile at her. They left the museum and followed the directions given to them till they arrived at the gym, which seemed to be rock-themed, before making their way inside through the large double doors. The interior was quite dark, which it hard for them to see. They hardly took more than 4 steps when a spotlight turned on at the far end of the room and shone down on someone. He is a young tan boy who's probably about 3 years older than Naruto, with spiky black and distinguishable squinted eyes. He wears a green vest which has 4 large pockets on the front over an orange short-sleeved t-shirt, along with brown pants held up by a black belt with a gold rectangular buckle. Had attached brown belt pockets on either side, and a pair of blue and white sneakers. Who are you and what are you doing here? Asked the boy. My name is Naruto and Ketchum from Pallet Town, and I came here to challenge the gym leader to a battle to earn a badge. I take it that you're Brock then? Naruto introduced himself. Is this your first match? For if it is, then it's far different from a regular Pokémon battle, as there are special rules, such an example being that we will use 2 Pokémon each. Understood? Brock explained. Naruto nodded in affirmation. I understand well enough. How long have you been on your journey? About 2 weeks tops. Your Pikachu is still at its cutest stage. Pikachu blushed a bit at the gym leader's words. It can't win. Okay, now that soured his mood. I suggest you don't go assuming that you know me. I came into this gym while fully aware of what it means to challenge a gym leader, said Naruto with a frown. Very well then, I have to answer to every challenge as a gym leader. Brock snapped his fingers as the walls opened up and two halves of a rock-themed arena slid into place in between Naruto and Brock while Leaf climbed up to the stands to watch the forthcoming battle. Both took their places and brought their Pokeballs for battle. Music start. Pokémon Black 2 White 2 Super Music Complete OST. Battle. Gym Leader Kanto, let the match begin. Go Geodude. Brock declared before throwing the Pokeball out into the field for it to open up in a bright flash of light and reveal a gray boulder-like Pokémon with bulging rocky eyebrows, trapezoidal brown eyes, a wide mouth, and a pair of muscular arms with 5 fingers. Naruto threw his Pokeball into the field as well to reveal his Pokémon being Butterfree. Then he tightened his goggles with determination. Alright Butterfree, let's show them what we've got. Free! Butterfree looked ever ready for battle. Brock quirked an eyebrow at this. Using a bug/flying type against a rock/ground type is a rookie mistake. Go Geodude, use Tackle Attack. Geodude used its arms to launch itself towards Butterfree with great speed. Butterfree, fly straight up to dodge and then use String Shot. Naruto quickly called out. Butterfree flapped his wings to quickly ascend to evade the incoming attack, then spewed out sticky silk to wrap around his target to restrain it. That will not hold Geodude for long, said Brock as Geodude was already in the process of tearing the bindings free. I know, but long enough to do this. Use Stun Spore Butterfree, said Naruto, surprising Brock with the bug Pokemon dispersing orange spores from his body onto Geodude, who began to spasm a bit afterwards. Now use Tackle. Butterfree now took to ramming into Geodude repetitively with the rock Pokemon grunting at each impact. What's going on? Tackle shouldn't be affecting Geodude this much as a normal type move, said Brock in confusion. That would be because of my Butterfree's tinted lens ability, which enables him to use not very effective moves to deal regular damage. Part of the reason why I choose Butterfree for battle, Naruto explained. So that's why. But I'm not done just yet. Geodude, use Rock Throw. Brock commanded. Geodude scooped up nearby rocks and flung them towards Butterfree. Use Confusion to catch those rocks and send them right back, Butterfree. Naruto quickly reacted. Butterfree's eyes glowed with purple psychic energy. Then thrown rocks stopped in midair for a moment before flying straight back and pelting Geodude. It's over with this. Use Gust. Butterfree flapped his wings strongly to launch a powerful blast of air to send Geodude flying and slammed into a boulder where it collapsed to the ground unconscious. Alright, way to go Naruto. Leaf cheered happily at the blonde's victory when she heard a whine and looked to the side to see 10 young children and noticed that they all bore a strong resemblance to Brock. Could they be related to Brock? Return Geodude. Brock recalled the defeated Pokemon back into its Pokeball. You've certainly trained your Pokemon well. But let's see you can take on my last Pokemon. Go Onix! He threw his second and last Pokeball out into the field to open and reveal what appears to be a Pokemon composed of a giant chain of gray boulders that becomes much smaller towards the tail, and on the top of its head is a rocky spine, making it akin to a snake made of stones. Okay then, returned Butterfree and good job. Naruto recalled the bug Pokemon back into the Pokeball before glancing at Pikachu. It's your time to shine, Pikachu. Because I choose you. Pika! Pikachu handed his hat over to Naruto before leaping off his shoulder and running into the battlefield in anticipation. Brock would have critiqued Naruto for his choice of Pokemon, but the previous round already pointed out how unusual the blonde trainer is. Onix, use Tackle. Onix lunged at Pikachu headfirst for a collision. Use Agility to keep away from Onix, Pikachu. Naruto called out in alert. Pikachu took off with increasing speed as he evaded repeated tackle attacks from Onix. Now use Electro Ball. Pikachu launched off a boulder and formed a sphere of yellow electricity at the tip of his tail before firing it at Onix to inflict damage. Onix, use Rock Throw, said Brock with the rock-type Pokemon slamming its tail into the ground and rocks flew out at Pikachu. Naruto's mind raced for a solution. Use Agility once more, then use Quick Attack on Onix. Pikachu rushed forward, rapidly darting from left to right to evade the rock projectiles. Onix, use Slam when Pikachu gets close enough, Brock commanded. Onix nodded in affirmation and readied its tail for the attack. Dodge at the last minute and run up Onix's body, and then use Iron Tail. Pikachu timed his moment carefully, then evaded the stone tail with a sidestep, then ran up with his tail turning metallic before lashing out with a swipe to land a super effective hit. The momentum and move typing proved to be too much for Onix to bear as it collapsed to the ground with swirls in its eyes. Alright, we won! Naruto cheered with a fist pump, and Pikachu jumped up and down happily before running back to Naruto and receiving his hat. Music end. Brock gaped in shock at the outcome before letting out a sigh of resignation and brought out his Pokeball to recall Onix. Onix, you did your best, so return for a good rest. Then he approached Naruto with Leaf walking up to him, and the children following after her. You trained your Pokemon well and came up with ways to earn victory which I've hardly seen with other trainers since. They would challenge me with Pokemon of type advantages. I just try help my Pokemon to be the best I believe they can be, and I should also prove myself worthy of being their trainer, said Naruto. Pikachu! Pikachu was in full agreement. The training was hard, but results were worth the effort. Hearing that makes me glad to award you with the Boulder Badge. Brock reached into one of the brown belt pockets and held out a token, which is a simple gray octagon. Naruto took the badge gratefully. Thank you. He looked at the badge, then tossed it into the air like a coin, then catching it and held it out before him. Boulder Badge acquired. Pi Pikachu! Pikachu cheered with a victory sign. You finally got to do that pose, said Leaf playfully, recalling Naruto wanting to do a pose to look cool after a gym battle and had been practicing it with a coin. That's pretty cool, said one of the children. Thanks. So who are you kids? You kinda resemble Brock, said Naruto. They're my little brothers and sisters, said Brock with pride. Naruto and Leaf looked at them and couldn't help but blush at how it happened, given that they had been told about the Pidgey and the Beedrill by their parents. What say we head on over to the Pokemon Center to heal the Pokemon, especially mine? Sounds good to me, said Naruto with a shrug. After escorting the kids back home, the group made their way to the center and had their Pokemon over to Nurse Joy to take care of them. They went on to have dinner at the cafeteria and had a chat mainly around the care of their Pokemon and future aspirations. I see. So Naruto wants to be a Pokemon master and Leaf wishes to be the best Pokemon journalist. Those are really admirable dreams, said Brock with a sad smile. To be honest with you too, it's actually my dream to become a top Pokemon breeder. But I had to take over the gym to support my brothers and sisters and make up for my absent parents. A Pokemon breeder. I get that feeling that you'll be really good at it, said Leaf thoughtfully. Yeah, we'll support your dream just like you support ours. You just need to hang in there and never give up on it, said Naruto. Brock smiled in appreciation. Thanks you guys. Unknown to the trio was that someone else was eavesdropping on them and looked down to the ground as if in shame before walking away. Later on, Naruto and Leaf were standing at the edge of the city, giving it one last look since it would be a long while till they passed through there once again. Well, time to get back on the road then, said Naruto. Yeah, according to Nurse Joy. The next gym is over at Cerulean City, said Leaf. They were just about to take a step when a voice called out to them. Hey, wait up! They turned to see Brock running up to them while carrying a large blue backpack with a bedroll scene strapped to it at the top until he finally caught up. Brock, what are you doing out here? Asked Leaf confusedly. It turns out that my dad has been around the whole time, but just that he was ashamed to show himself. He offered to watch over the kids so I could fulfill my dream where he failed at his. So I hope that you two wouldn't mind if I join you on your journey, Brock explained. Naruto responded with a smile. No problems here, the more the merrier as they always say. Thanks guys, said Brock gratefully. Then he joined the duo to form a trio as they resumed the journey to their next destination. As of now, the group were currently hiking up a dirt pathway into direction towards a large mountain which is tall enough to be seen clearly all the way from Pallet Town, which Leaf was able to recall. You know, I'm wondering how Empty Moon got its name. I thought it related to a lover's tale since it sounded so romantic, said Leaf. She took a glance at Naruto with a pink tinge on her cheeks. Not really. I heard people say that a huge meteor crashed into the mountain back during the prehistoric times. They called the meteor the Moonstone. I read about that. The Moonstone has the power to make certain Pokemon evolve, said Naruto. Help! A sudden scream interrupted the trio's conversation. They looked at each other, then ran quickly in direction of the scream. There they saw a man dressed as a professor curled up on the ground, and bat-like Pokemon were flying around him angrily. Naruto brought out his Pokédex to scan. Zubat, the bat Pokemon. Zubat avoids sunlight because exposure causes it to become unhealthy. During the daytime, it stays in caves or under the eaves of old houses, sleeping while hanging upside down. As much as I would like to wonder why they're doing the opposite, We need to help that man. Pikachu used Thunder Shock to scare the Zubat away. Naruto commanded. Pikachu immediately leapt off his head with cheeks sparking before unleashing a blast of electricity to make the Zubat fly back into the cave, leaving the man alone for them to check on. Are you okay, sir? Asked Leaf with concern. The man dusted off his clothes. I'm fine. Thank you very much, brave Pokémon trainers. I am in your debt. No need for that. We just did what anyone else would have done. My name is Naruto and Ketchum, and this is my buddy Pikachu. She's Leaf and he's Brock. Naruto introduced himself and his friends. I am Seymour the scientist. It is an utmost pleasure to meet you all, said the now named Seymour. Same here. But could you tell us why the Zubat were attacking you in broad daylight? Asked Brock. I can do better and show you the reason. Follow me. Seymour walked into the cave the Zubat went through earlier with the others following him, only to be surprised to see that inside was lit up with electric-powered lights strung along the ceilings of the cave. What's with the lights? Asked Leaf. As you could see, somebody had strung these lights through the whole cave, but the Pokémon need the dark and this rapid change in the environment is confusing them, Seymour explained. Which was probably why the Zubat left the cave and attacked you, said Brock thoughtfully. Seymour nodded, then gestured to the Pokémon residing in the cave. See there, those paras are planting their mushrooms everywhere, and the Sandshrew are getting dried up by the hot lights. Naruto noticed one of the Sandshrew near him panting and was saddened. So he took out a bowl from his backpack and filled it with water from his canteen before placing close to the Pokémon, who wasted no time in drinking it all up. Leaf smiled fondly at the blonde's action before turning to speak to Seymour. Did you try to take the lights down? Asked Leaf. Seymour nodded in affirmation. Yes, I did, but the troublemakers kept replacing them. But what reason would they be here for? I fear it's because of the Moonstone. The Moonstone? We were just talking about it on our way here, said Brock. I believe so, for the Moonstone is so much more than what everyone knows. I always believed that Pokémon came from outer space and arrived here with the Moonstone as their spacecraft, and these greedy troublemakers want to steal it from the Pokémon for themselves. Sounds like an original theory, said Leaf with a sweat drop. Naruto listened in as he tended to the Sandshrew. Hope you're feeling better now. He gently patted the Sandshrew's head as it sighed in contentment. Then they heard yet another cry, and this one came from a Pokémon. Naruto shot up to his feet and ran down the tunnel with Pikachu following after him. Naruto, wait up! Leaf took off after with Brock and Seymour close behind. Naruto skidded around the corner and narrowed his eyes upon seeing Meowth from Team Rocket looming over a frightened Pokémon, which he identified to be a Clefairy quivering in fear with a stone shard held in its hands. Now fork over that Moonstone and no one gets hurt. Meowth was about to take another step when Naruto stood in between them and glared at the cat Pokémon, with Leaf frowning once she caught up with Naruto. You again, what are you doing here? Asked Leaf. A talking Meowth? Brock was rather surprised at a Pokémon capable of human speech. Don't bother, this Meowth is a member of Team Rocket, and they're nothing but trouble. Then prepare for trouble. Jessie appeared next to Meowth with a pickaxe in hand. James soon joined while holding a shovel and make it double, to defend the W. Naruto stopped them. Okay, let me stop you right there. We already heard your dumb anthem once, and that is enough for us. Pika Pika. Pikachu crossed his arms and nodded in agreement, making the trio glare at them. I'll have you know that our motto is worth hearing, said Jessie in anger. About as worthwhile as a lame 10-second TV commercial. How about you get out of here before you cause any more problems? Leaf scoffed in response. Not until we acquire the Moonstone to power up our Pokémon, James retorted. Then we'll just force you out. Naruto took out Pokeball and readied it, then turned to Leaf. Get Clefairy and the professor to safety while Brock and I deal with these guys. Okay, Naruto. Be careful, you two. Leaf beckoned the Clefairy and Seymour to follow her out of the cave as Naruto and Brock faced Team Rocket. Ready or not, go Ekin/coughing. Jessie and James threw their Pokeballs to call on their Pokémon. Let's go, Scyther. Naruto threw his Pokeball to call on the Mantis Pokémon, who stood at the ready with his blades. Here we go! Brock threw his Pokeball to reveal a Zubat, mildly surprising Naruto. Since when did you catch a Zubat? Asked Naruto. It was right before we entered the cave. Alright then, let's get down to business. Coughing, smog attack. James commanded, with coughing expelling dark gas from its body towards Scyther and Zubat. Scyther, flap your wings quickly to blow the smog away, then use a combo of quick attack and slash. Naruto called out. Scyther complied and vibrated his wings to blow the smog back, then flew forward at high speed and slashed at Coughing with one of his blades. Ekans used tackle on Zubat, said Jessie with Ekans lunging at Zubat. Zubat used Astonish and then use Wing Attack, Brock commanded. Zubat let out a loud screech which slammed into Ekans, stopping it before smacking the snake Pokémon away with its wings. Coughing used Sludge Attack on Scyther, said James. Coughing spewed a blob of toxic sludge at a target. Use Double Team and follow it up with Quick Attack. Naruto quickly reacted. Scyther immediately created copies of himself and hit amongst them with the Sludge Attack missing completely. Coughing looked around in confusion but was blindsided by the real Scyther's attack to be sent crashing into the cave wall and fainting. Jessie growled at this. This is not over. Ekans, use Rap. Zubat, use Supersonic. Zubat let out a screech which caused Ekans to begin moving around in a drunken manner, much to Jessie's chagrin, as it wasn't listening to her commands. Now finish it with Wing Attack. Zubat swooped it and struck Ekans with its wings to knock it out. Jessie and James recalled their Pokémon and ran away from victorious duo. Another score for the good guys, said Naruto, exchanging a high five with Brock. That's the power of teamwork. But I feel like we're missing something, said Brock. Now that you mention it, we forgot about Meowth. He must have snuck off after the others while we were battling. Then we gotta move now. Naruto and Pikachu and Brock ran out of the cave in the direction they saw Leaf and the others go through. They had just exited when they heard a scream and looked up to see Meowth flying in the opposite direction, and went on ahead to locate the group near a river to see a vindictive Leaf and her Rattata sitting next to her. I guess Meowth was in over his head. Leaf smiled smugly. That's one way to say it. I think we should take a small break after everything that happened, especially since it's getting rather late, Brock suggested. Sounds good to me, said Naruto. The group settled down for the meantime. Naruto reached into his bag and took out a container full of Pokémon food. Then he noticed that Brock also has Pokémon food with him as well. You make Pokémon food too? Yeah, it's my very own recipe which I've been constantly improving upon. I guess the same goes for you, said Brock, feeding a pellet to Zubat who was perched on his shoulder. Naruto was feeding Scyther as well. It's actually a recipe from my mom. She taught me how to cook since she herself runs a restaurant back home, so I received 2 cookbooks with one for humans and the other for Pokémon. Hope you don't mind if I took a look at them. No problem. Then the group heard a rumble from underground and something emerged, revealing it to be a Sandshrew, which then went over to Naruto and began nuzzle against him rather fondly. Leaf was confused at first but then had an idea of why. I think that's the same Sandshrew you gave water to, Naruto, said Leaf. Naruto looked at the Sandshrew who was nodding to the statement. I think you're right. I wonder what it's doing here. My guess is that it has taken a liking to you since you were so nice to it, said Brock thoughtfully. It goes to show how much of a kind Pokémon trainer you are, said Seymour. Scyther SCY. Scyther was in agreement. Naruto has shown to be strong and kind to himself and his fellow Pokémon. Well, this calls for a commemorative picture. Leaf reached into her backpack and took out a digital camera. Then she snapped a picture before noticing Pikachu sitting on a rock and having a conversation with the Clefairy. How cute. I'll take a picture of this too. How nice. It makes me wonder what it is they're talking about, said Seymour. Pikachu suddenly stood up and waved to them. Pikapi. What's up, Pikachu? Asked Naruto. Clefairy hopped off the stone and away with Pikachu pointing at the fairy Pokémon Pikachu. Then he followed after it. Seems like Clefairy wants to show us something since Pikachu's telling us to follow, said Naruto, packing up his things and returning Scyther into his Pokeball with the rest following suit, then going after the 2 Pokémon, and Sandshrew stuck close to Naruto. The group made their way through the forested part of the area as the sun went down and the night began. They emerged into a small clearing to discover another cave with its entrance hidden by vegetation and went through it. They didn't walk for very long as they emerged in an open area where the full moon could be seen clearly above, and at the center is a large rock as black as the night sky with numerous smaller shards littered around it. It's the core of the Moonstone, said Seymour in wonder. I never would have thought that I would see anything like this, said Brock. This is what it means to go on a Pokémon journey. Learn about things few would be lucky enough to by just staying at home, said Leaf, taking pictures with her camera. Hey guys, Clefairy is doing something, said Naruto. Everyone looked to see Clefairy place the stone shard amongst the others. The shards and the giant Moonstone glowed in resonance. Soon they saw more Clefairy gather around the Moonstone and began to dance around it. What do you suppose they're doing? Asked Brock curiously. Seymour thoughtfully came up with a theory. It seems to me like the Clefairy worshipped the Moonstone like a deity, which would have to do with them collecting its shards which had broken off when it crashed into the mountain, and another evidence is that it's a full moon tonight. I'm guessing that Clefairy had invited us to watch the ceremony. Leaf realized what was going on now. Well, before we can enjoy the show, Pikachu, use Thunder Wave behind us, said Naruto with a frown. Pikachu immediately spun around and fired jolts of electricity at the cave's exit. Jaya! There were screams and someone tumbled out to reveal to the group who were very familiar with. Team Rocket again? Said Brock in annoyance. I figured these three are too stubborn to call it quits, so I had to keep an eye out should they try to follow us since we were with Clefairy, said Naruto. But the truth of the matter was that he had been using his aura to sense his surroundings, and noted that they were spying on them. How did you know? Jessie muttered through the paralysis. Naruto simply smiled. That's for me to know and for you never to find out. After tying Team Rocket up with ropes and put to sleep with Butterfree's sleep powder, the group sat down and watched as the Clefairy continued to dance around the giant Moonstone. Then smaller shards hovered into the air and floated over to different Clefairy, who touched them delicately and lit up in a bright light before revealing themselves taller and changed. Naruto brought out his Pokédex to scan. Clefairy, the fairy Pokémon. The moonlight that it stores in the wings on its back apparently gives it the ability to float in midair. Clefable, the evolved form of Clefairy. Clefable moves by skipping lightly as if it were flying using its wings. Its bouncy step lets it even walk on water. It is known to take strolls on lakes on quiet, moonlit nights, and it also counts as a ritual for the Moonstone chooses who will evolve and who won't. I am learning so much from this single encounter, said Seymour excitedly. Same here, I'm really glad that I joined up on this journey, said Brock. We all are, said Naruto, with Pikachu curling up on his lap and falling asleep with the rest soon following suit. The next morning, everyone had woken up and went to rinse off back at the river before heading for the exit leading out of the mountain, not to mention that he had also called Officer Jenny to pick up Team Rocket as well. The Clefairy and Clefable had also come to see them off. Just this is it, Seymour, said Naruto. What will you be doing from here? Asked Leaf. Well, I'll be staying since it's been my lifelong dream to learn about them and the Moonstones so that one day I'll be able to go to space with them, said Seymour. Be sure to send us a postcard when you do, said Brock with a smile. Naruto turned to leave when he felt something tug at the bottom of his pants, with the same for Leaf's socks. Both looked down to see Sandshrew and Clefairy holding on, and that wasn't all as three Clefable approached with a Moonstone each for Naruto, Brock and Leaf. Seems like they want to give those Moonstones to you and those two want to come along. Normally I would be against capture, but they're the ones that made the choice, said Seymour. Then I can do nothing more than say thanks. Naruto took the Moonstone and placed it in his backpack before turning to Sandshrew. And welcome to the team. He took out a Pokeball and tapped its head with it. The Pokeball shook 3 times before signaling a successful capture, and heard the same sound for Leaf. Then the Pokédex beeped. Sandshrew, the mouse Pokémon. Sandshrew burrows and lives underground. If threatened, it curls itself up into a ball for protection. This Sandshrew is male with the ability Sand Veil. Moves, Scratch, Defense Curl, Sand Attack, Rollout. We need to get going, Seymour. Hope to see you one day, said Naruto. And I wish you all a fruitful journey, said Seymour. The group bade the professor and fairy Pokémon farewell as they left Empty Moon and were now making headway for Cerulean City and to Naruto's second gym to earn his next badge. It didn't take long for them to reach a crossroads, with the signposts pointing the different directions of each route, of particular importance to them. The path towards Cerulean City. I guess we're headed the right way with where the sign is pointing. Brock noticed something else, and there's something else scribbled there. What's it say? Asked Leaf curiously. It says, Gary was here, Naruto is a loser. Both Naruto and Leaf let out a groan at who wrote it. Something tells me you two know who wrote this. Understatement of the year, Brock. We'll tell you about it while we're walking, Naruto replied with a deadpan expression. Looks like we'll soon be arriving at Cerulean City, said Naruto, looking at the map from his Pokégear as he walked beside Leaf and Brock along the dirt path towards their current destination. Glad to hear that. We're almost out of provisions and need to get our Pokémon patched up at the Pokémon Center after all those battles we've had along the way, said Leaf. You're right. Afterwards we can restock before you can prepare for your gym battle, said Brock. Then let's get going. Can't wait to see how the place is like, said Naruto. Pikachu nodded in agreement with his blonde trainer. Do you know which Pokémon you would be using for the gym battle? asked Brock. Naruto hummed thoughtfully. I know that the Cerulean Gym utilizes water-type Pokémon, so Pikachu is a default choice, but I won't be relying on him alone. Plus I'll need to keep an eye out for the kind of Pokémon they would use. Sounds like a good plan for now. Brock looked ahead of the road. We finally arrived at the city. True enough, the group are now standing at the entry point into the Cerulean City, and there was even a welcome sign which said the Floral Lagoon City. After receiving directions from the citizens, the group made their way to the Pokémon Center, where they handed over their Pokémon to Nurse Joy before going to have lunch over at the cafeteria, then going to wait over at the lobby for their Pokémon. Leaf was currently browsing through the internet on her laptop when she came across something interesting and spoke to the boys. Hey guys, have you heard about Pokeblocks? Not exactly, only bits and pieces, said Naruto. Brock hummed and thought same here, although I heard that it originates from the Hoenn region. Well, according to the Poke Forum, Pokeblocks are colorful candy blocks made for Pokemon. They're mostly used by coordinators to increase a Pokemon's condition for Pokemon contests. There's even a tip that they can also be used in the Safari Zone to make wild Pokemon less likely to escape in battle, said Leaf, reading from the webpage. So how are these Pokeblocks made, by the way? Asked Brock. They're made by mixing berries together. The flavor and color of the Pokeblocks depends on the kinds of berries used in the mixture. All this sounds interesting. I wouldn't mind trying it out. They were snapped out of their conversation upon hearing the PA call out their names to report to the counter for their Pokemon. They immediately headed there to acquire their Pokemon, with Pikachu hopping onto Naruto's shoulder and putting his hat back on. Alright buddy, let's head for the gym and win ourselves a badge, said Naruto with a smirk. Pikachu raised a paw into the air excitedly. Pikachu, I see you're as pumped up as ever, said Leaf fondly. Sure am, let's go. Well, I need to go do some things in the city, so I'll see you guys later. Brock spoke up. You aren't coming with us? Asked Leaf. Sorry, it's very important. Naruto nodded in understanding. It's okay then, wish me luck. Sure thing. Receiving directions from Nurse Joy, the trio made their way from the Pokemon Center, with Brock taking a different route, and were able to locate the Cerulean Gym. However, they couldn't help but find the design to be rather tacky in a way, with it being a dome-shaped, brightly colored gym with a gigantic painting of a dugong on top of it. But they went inside regardless and noticed that there are quite a lot of people inside. What's going on? Asked Leaf confusedly. I don't know, let's follow them and find out, Naruto suggested. The duo followed the crowd into what appears to be a performance hall with a large swimming pool at the center. Is it some kind of show? Seems like it, but I thought this place is a Pokemon gym. Suddenly the announcer spoke through the loudspeakers for all to hear. And now introducing to you, Cerulean City's sensational sisters. The spotlight moved up to the top of a tall diving board, revealing a trio of beautiful girls dressed in one-piece swimsuits. The music started playing, with the girls leaping off the diving board into the pool and proceeded to perform a choreography of water ballet, with the crowd cheering them on, especially the males. Pikachu was watching in awe at the performance. I don't mind repeating myself, but isn't this place a Pokemon gym? Asked Naruto. I don't really know, might as well ask around after this show, said Leaf, taking out her camera to record for her blog. The show eventually ended and everyone left the place, with Naruto, Leaf and Pikachu checking the place out. They went downstairs and came across a rather impressive aquarium with various water Pokemon swimming about, which further questions whether this place is a gym at place. The trio came upon the three swimmer girls from earlier complimenting each other over their performance, and were able to identify the blonde one to be Daisy, the brunette as Violet, and the pinkette as Lily. Oh, I'm sorry, but if you want an interview, then you'll have to call our manager, said Lily upon seeing them. Although I wouldn't mind having a one-on-one conversation with you, cutie, said Violet, eyeing Naruto with a sultry look in her eyes. Daisy pouted. No fair, sis. That was my intention too. We're not here for an interview. Naruto came here for a gym battle so that he could earn a badge, said Leaf, glaring at the three girls. Yeah, do you know where the gym leader is? Asked Naruto. Actually, you're looking at them, said Daisy. Huh, we are the sensational sisters, said Violet. And the Cerulean gym leaders, Lily added. The group were taken aback by what they just heard. The sisters led them to a room with a large pool and floating platforms on the water as seats where audience could sit and watch the battle. Since you're the gym leaders, I'd like to challenge you in a Pokemon battle and win your gym's badge, Naruto declared, with Pikachu nodding in agreement. The sisters looked at each nervously before Daisy spoke up. Actually, we don't feel like battling anymore. Naruto blinked in confusion. What do you mean by that? Well, we got beat by trainers who came from this backwards town called Pallet, said Violet. Naruto and Leaf glowered at her for insulting their hometown. Lily continued, and our most recent loss was against a guy called Red yesterday, so we had to rush our Pokémon to the Pokémon Center. My eyes were spinning from how fast we lost. Violet held out a Pokeball. All we have left is a Goldeen which only knows Horn attack and nothing more. Not to mention that we barely had any time for ourselves with these battles interrupting us, said Daisy with a pout. Seriously? Naruto muttered lowly. These are gym leaders that actually don't like battling. Then how on earth did this gym come to be then? So, we came all this way here for nothing? Asked Leaf in annoyance. No worries, we have a solution for this. Lily clapped hands and a Pokémon emerged from the pool, turning out to be a seal which flopped towards her and stuck out its tongue to reveal a badge in the shape of a light blue raindrop. Here's the Cascade badge. You can have it. Naruto shifted his sight between the badge and the girls several times with a blank expression before finally speaking up. Are you trying to insult me? The sisters blinked in confusion. I said, are you trying to insult me? We don't understand, said Violet. It is my job as a Pokémon trainer to catch Pokémon and raise them to be as strong as they can be. And it is your role as a gym leader to see we have what it takes and are ready to face any challenges. The badge represents the gym leader's acknowledgement, and the symbol of the trainer's hard work, yet here you are simply degrading its worth. Leaf smirked, seeing the flabbergasted look on the girls' faces as Naruto continued to reprimand them. She recalls from her younger days that Naruto is at his happiest when he earns something with hard work and hates taking things without something to show for it, often says that it feels wrong to him. Do you have any idea that doing this puts the lives of novice trainers and their Pokémon in grave danger? What do you mean? Asked Daisy, a bit afraid of the answer. By handing over the badge without a battle, you plant a false sense of confidence into them, which in turn leads to getting involved with situations beyond their skills and possibly lose their lives. It was even why the Pokémon League changed the age requirement from 10 to 13 so trainers would be more mature and prepared. Can you really live with the consequences of this action of yours? Asked Naruto sternly. The three sisters could hardly say a word to oppose what Naruto just said, as it was the absolute truth, and they had been taking things for granted. Looks like you've finally realized what you've been doing was wrong all along. A female voice spoke up. Everyone turned to see someone standing at the doorway with a frown on her face. She is a slender girl with a fit build and orange hair held in a spiky ponytail. She wears a yellow top that reveals her midriff, red suspenders, denim shorts that stop at her thighs, and red sneakers with yellow lining and white laces. Who are you? Asked Naruto curiously. The name's Misty, and those three over there are my older sisters, said the girl. So why are you back here? You said you wouldn't return until you've become a water Pokémon master, said Violet. Misty turned to glare at them. I came back because of you three. I was training over at Seafoam Islands when I started hearing gossips of you guys having been giving away badges without having any battles at all, so I had to return to prevent you from discrediting this gym our parents had built any more than you already have. It took this guy here to make you realize what you were doing was wrong. Well, Lily started but was interrupted. I don't want to hear any of your excuses. Misty turned towards Naruto. As I am also a gym leader, I accept your gym challenge. Naruto smirked in response. Now that's what I want to hear. Misty nodded in affirmation. Let me go and change then. We'll have our battle. Later on, Naruto and Misty were now standing at opposite ends of the pool atop floating platforms, with the latter currently wearing a strapless two-piece blue swimsuit and a pair of sandals. So, what are the rules? Asked Naruto. We'll both use 3 Pokémon with only you allowed to substitute, and no time limit, said Misty. Alright then, let's get started. Music start. Pokémon Black 2 White 2 OST. Battle. Gym Leader Kanto. Misty took out a Pokeball Misty calls Seeking. She threw it into the air to open up and a Pokémon to splash into the pool, revealing to be an orange and white, fish-like Pokémon. It has round, dark eyes, prominent pink lips, 2 small fangs, and a cream-colored horn in the center of its forehead. There are several black markings on its body, 2 thick lines under each eye, a large wavy patch on its back, and several speckles near its tail. It has billowing pectoral fins and a pair of tail fins shaped like butterfly wings. Naruto took out a Pokeball. Let's do this Butterfree. He threw it to call on his bug-type Pokémon as it flittered in midair for battle. That's when he noticed that Misty was looking rather uncomfortable. Hey,